This week on Ask Travel, we answer questions on
snowboarding in Australia
cost of a working hostel
and traveling the West Coast.
Hey, it's Darryl from Welcome to Travel.
Hello, it's Adam from Welcome to Travel here. Welcome to another episode of Ask Travel. If you don't know what Ask Travel is, it's pretty simple. You ask us travel questions and we answer them every single week. Darryl.
Well, where do we ask us the questions, Adam?
In their head.
In their head and in the comments below or on our Instagram. Right.
That is the real way, yeah.
I am going to start off by asking you a question, Adam. And the question is from Van Plus Cat.
Oh.
And it reads like a statement, but it's actually a question. You can snowboard in Australia, but question mark.
Oh, so it's like a shocked question. So we must have mentioned it before, and Van Plus Cat has gone, you can snowboard in Australia. What? Like that.
That's his reaction, yeah.
That's what's happened. Yes, you can. So I've got one for you, Dan. No, so yeah, you can snowboard in quite a few places in Australia. I always like seeing people's shocked face when you mention that. It's the same as the shocked face I had when I found that out. But there's quite a few different places you can snowboard and ski, mainly in Victoria, New South Wales, and Australian Capital Territory, I'm going to say, near Canberra. So you've got places like Thredbo, Perisher, and Jindabyne. Really good spots for skiing, snowboarding. A lot of people in the winter here in Melbourne, and I know up in Sydney, will plan like 2 or 3 weekends away in the winter. And you've got some really mountainous areas that get quite a lot of snow in the winter. It's not going to be, if you're Canadian or European, it's not going to be like those crazy long runs that you're used to. But it's a good laugh. And plenty of fun, and it's a good little getaway in the winter, I guess. And you've also got in New Zealand, you've got the Southern Alps as well, and you've got some amazing spots there, specifically down in Wanaka and Queenstown in the South Island. So it's 45 degrees here sometimes, but you can also snowboard here. Mind blowing.
Right.
Darryl.
Yes.
Question for you. How much does it normally cost to stay in a working hostel? That question is from Ali. No, it isn't. Oh, I can't believe I've done a Darryl and got the name wrong. This question is from Ellie Angus, not Ali Angus. Ellie Angus 318.
Okay, so how much does it normally cost to stay in a working hostel?
Yes.
So with working hostels, it is generally done on a weekly rate rather than a nightly rate. Whenever you go into a major city, you'll probably look at what the nightly rate is. But when you go out to these regional towns, our weekly rate is ... And generally, why is that? Yeah. Reason being is because they want a commitment for you to stay like a little bit longer. And also, if you are looking to go to regional town, you're not going to be able to find work in like 1 night or 2 nights, like staying there. You'll probably need a week for you to like commit to that area. And a week gives you like a good amount of time for you to be able to find work as well. So generally speaking, like it ranges from around 180 Australian dollars a week to 220 Australian dollars a week. But that's from the hostels which we've been to, like in places like Mildura, but there's also places in like on the Sunshine Coast as well, and they're the general prices. But also on top of that, you normally pay around $5 per day for vehicle hire as well. So if you go to the working hostel, they'll be able to link you up with different employers. And then to get out to that particular farm, there may be like 5 of you who are needing to get there, and you pay like $5 or $10 a day for that like transport to get from the hostel to the farm. So 180 to 220, then plus $5 or $10 a day.
Perfect. Cool.
Nice.
Sweet.
I've got another question for you. Good question, by the way, though, Ellie. Really good question. What is a good amount of time to travel the west coast of Australia? And this is the question from Dara Burke, 99.
Thank you, Dara. Good amount of time to travel the west coast of Australia. Cool. I guess the west coast of Australia, first of all, it's very big, and it doesn't need to be done kind of in one fell swoop, in one go. Some people will do different parts of the west coast. So similar to maybe someone on the east coast doing Sydney to Brisbane or Brisbane to Cairns. The west coast is just so big. It could be classed as Perth to Darwin. It could just be Perth to Broome. It could be Perth to Exmouth. And some people also would just do the southwest as well. I'd say if you're doing I'll break it up and then we can add up what that takes to do all of it. So let's say if you're doing Perth to southwest, which is down to Margaret River, Busselton, down to Albany, Esperance. If you were doing that in kind of like a loop, you'd probably want, I'd say, 10 days return, like Perth to Perth. Then if you're just going as far as Exmouth, you'd probably want 7 or 8 days one way. And then if you're going up to Broome, including stuff like on the way, like Shark Bay, Coral Bay, Karijini National Park, I'd say if you were driving specifically from Exmouth to Broome and having plenty of time, you probably want another 10 days as well. So probably say 3 weeks up to Broome. And then if you're going up to all the way through the Kimberley, all the way to Darwin as well, again, driving and wanting that plenty of time, you probably want another 10 to 14 days to do that part as well, to be honest. It could kind of, what did that add up to? So 8, 10,
Lots.
8, 10, 10, so that's 28, plus another 10, so 38, 40. So if you're doing the south bit as well, let's say between 6 to 7 weeks. But if you're just doing Perth to Darwin straight through, you're closer to 5 or 6 weeks. But then if you're just going to Broome, pretty much 4 weeks. Say 3 to 4 weeks.
When you do the Kimberley region, which is between Broome and Darwin, and you go on the Gibb River Road, you can only do that on certain times of the year as well, can't you, Adam?
Yeah, exactly. You can only do it in dry season, and you need a 4-wheel drive as well, ideally.
Yeah, and there's tours as well, which take you all the way from Perth all the way up to Darwin. And some people look at these itineraries and go, I can do it in the same amount of time. But yeah, it's way too much driving, and I would put on an extra 20% of time on top of what's already on the itinerary as well. Yeah.
So what's the Perth to Darwin's 21 days, isn't it? So then I think I said that would take 40 days. So yeah, I've added quite a lot on there. But I'm guessing if you're driving it as well, you wanting to see things that might not be on an itinerary as well. So it's not as jam-packed. And you definitely, the people driving those tours are professionals and have done it time and time again. So yeah, I'd say Perth to Broome is good, between 3 and 4 weeks, and then depends if you're adding on right through to Darwin as well. But the reason I mention that south area is a beautiful part of the world. It's probably one of the most untouched in terms of visitors. It's the people that love there absolutely live it and barely leave it, to be honest, because it's just, it's incredible. It's got so much going on, from wineries to beaches to hikes. It's got everything, amazing wildlife. So myself and Daryl did our farm work there, so we know how nice it is in that area. And I just think if you are going all the way to the west coast, just dip down for a few hours and take a look, because you might never go back. I've pretty much never been back as a tourist since leaving 10 years ago. So kind of, should make the most of it if you're over there. Obviously, budget and time dependent. That is obviously the parameters of traveling. Go for it, Daryl. Sign us off.
Well, I hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Ask Travel. So again, if you do have any travel questions, write them below in the comments as well. And don't forget to subscribe. There are going to be some major announcements, we believe, regarding the working holiday visa over the next few weeks, we hear. So stay tuned for that. As soon as we know, we will let you know. And again, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Cheers.